What are you absolutely 100 sure you saw but have no proof? The coolest shooting star ever. It lasted a very long time, like a solid 8-10 seconds. It looked like it was spraying sparkles out behind it, and the trail changed colors a few times, from red to green to purple, etc. Seen dozens of shooting stars. Never seen one remotely like that. I'm pretty sure I rang up John C. Riley at my old bookstore job once. This was in Illinois, and he was buying a few CDs. He was wearing sunglasses the whole time, and was definitely being low-key. I didn't want to just straight up ask him if he was JCR, but I wanted to say something cause I really like him. So I was like, hey, has anyone ever told you you look like someone famous? And he was quickly like, nope, and went on his way. I'm positive it was him, but none of my other coworkers even noticed him, so no one believed me. In the summer sometime around 2005, in a suburb of Washington, D.C. in Northern Virginia, a friend and I were driving on a small 2-lane road with trees on either side. We saw a monkey drop from the trees and jump to the other side of the road. It then jumped and grabbed a low-hanging branch and swung back into the trees. I couldn't fucking believe it, and my friend was as equally shocked. At a late-night party in the Mt. Adams neighborhood of Cincinnati, walked out on the balcony and witnessed the brilliant light of what appeared to be a meteor space debris burning out over the downtown area. It lit up the skyline for a brief second and then flamed out. Someone then came out and joined me, and I said, "Did you see that?" They said, "What?" I told them what I saw, and they said, "Sure you did, dude." No mention in the news the next day. I witnessed a squirrel actually tipping up a presumably empty discarded can of 7-Up, using its 2 front paws, like it was drinking it. This was on the front lawn of my kid's HS shortly after lunch. It happened. Really. I saw a man in a chicken costume on the London Underground get on the train, do a backflip just to casually walk out of the train again at the same stop like nothing happened. When I was a kid, I went outside to call my brother home. He was already running like mad across the road towards home, and above him was a circular display of lights. They disappeared quickly. I don't believe in aliens and UFOs and all that shit, but it definitely happened and I can't explain it. Mid-aughts, small blurb in the local paper, sidebar column, credit AP Newswire, about a confirmed and reproduced experiment at UC Berkeley, I believe in conjunction with DARPA, which exhibited cold fusion. It was described as being a very small-scale interaction which produced only a tiny amount of energy and was said to have potential applications in cell phone technology and homeland security. I don't know if my friends played a prank and got a dummy copy of the news printed up or what, but I've never been able to track it down, or anything even close. But I read it, got me. I saw a naked dude in the forest while I was in the train with my buddy. He did not believe me, but I'm 100 sure. My brother didn't accidentally turn off the NES when I was about to beat his high score on Tetris. Me and my cousin were looking out the window together on a bright hot summer day, and we saw yellow lightning just randomly hit the middle of the street. The skies were clear. I don't remember how clear, but definitely no storm clouds or anything. And yeah, I know all lightning is white, but sometimes it has that blue-violet tint around it. This one was yellow. I was watching the ISS livestream late one night, about 8 years ago. It soothed my bedtime anxiety, just looking at the big old world and feeling small and tranquil. And this object came into view of the camera, sort of shaped like an arrowhead or a 3-sided long pyramid, toppled over, started small and far from the camera's view. I assumed it was space debris or a fancy satellite, but it just kept getting closer, and this thing was huge. Tons of square edge ridges on it, curved indents in symmetrical patterns, more and more detail. It looked enormous, and it just kept coming closer and seeming bigger, but it was still so far away from the ISS camera. I can't really express the size of it. So I put in the stream chat, "What is that thing?" A few seconds later the feed cut to static. God, do I wish I depressed print screen. Ball lighting, watched it for a solid minute, then it disappeared. It fascinated me out so much I didn't even think about grabbing my phone. I used to work at a haunted house as one of the actors. I actually hate acting and at the time hated haunted houses. But my friend wanted to do it, but didn't have the courage to do the process alone. Being the good friend I am, I signed up too. One night, I had to work a whole section by myself. I had to sit by myself in dim lighting for hours on end with horror music playing to create ambience. There were a bunch of mannequins sitting in chairs, and I would sit among them to jump scare the passers-by. One night, there was a 30-minute lag where nobody came through. So imagine sitting in pure eerie darkness by yourself for that long. I have absolutely no proof that this happened at all, but as I was sitting among the mannequins, one of them turned their head to look back at me, then turned its head back to the original position. We could fairly argue that I was paranoid and made this up out of such paranoia, but that felt real as all fuck to me. I had to leave the set and go to the break room for a while. I saw something else peculiar in a different room a few days later. I feel like that space had bad energy and am happy to say I won't be working there ever again. A massive orange cloud appeared over the ocean at night at the Oregon coast. I was walking and stargazing when it happened. When I say massive, I mean it lit up the sky and it was a few miles out on the sea. I think it was most likely a gas tanker ship explosion, but despite the sky being lit up, I couldn't find a report about it anywhere the next day or in the days following. It was astonishing in its intensity. When my wife and I were dating, I spent the night at her apartment. I think she has made a comment about feeling presences there on occasion, but I didn't think much of it. We were about to go to bed. There was a 4 to 5 foot tall dresser next to the side as the bed I was getting on. There was a quarter on top of it, maybe an inch from the edge. We turn off the lights and lay in bed, and a few seconds later, we both hear what sounded like a coin hitting wood, then the floor. A little freaked out, we get up and turn the lights on. That quarter was on the floor. But to duplicate the sound it made, it has to have bounced off the bed frame, which was like 2 feet from the dresser. That means that coin, which was well on top of the dresser, flew off the top shelf far enough to hit the wood bed frame a couple feet away. Can't say what it was or wasn't, and maybe there was an earthly explanation, but hell if I know what it is. I once saw a UFO flying over my backyard while I was drunk, but none of my friends believed me because they were too busy drinking beer and playing cornhole. UFO many of us did. It was THR late 90. My sister and neighbor still remembers it. We didn't make out the shape, but it was spinning many colors and moved on a z-axis. Shimmery UFO Springfield, or 2015-ish near a military base at the crack of dawn. A tarantula larger than a foot,